Dr. Elena Sharp was a young historian at the University of Edinburgh. One rainy evening, she was working on a forgotten handwritten manuscript from the 18th century in the university archives titled The Diary of the Keeper of the Edinburgh Vaults. 1st October, 1745. The voices came again today. They are searching for me. They believe I have hidden treasure, but what I am guarding is far more valuable than gold and far more deadly. Elena's interest was piqued. These vaults, the underground chambers beneath the city, had been sealed for centuries. Locals believed they were just old coal cellars, but this diary suggested something else entirely. She called her friend Avi, an urban archaeologist. Avi, you need to see this. As she opened a scan of the diary on her laptop, her computer shut down. A single word appeared on the screen: "Leave!" A deep, gravelly voice echoed through the room, even though she was completely alone. You should not go there. With trembling hands, she turned to the last page of the diary. It was stained with what looked like blood, and written upon it was, "If anyone is reading this, I am dead. But it is alive. It will always be alive. The keeper of the vaults has not been human for centuries. It is the thing they fear. They call it the Keeper, and it is hungry." Elena picked up her phone. She needed to call Avi, but instead, she received an old, grainy text message with an address. Southbridge Vaults. Tonight, at the hour of the half-man. The Southbridge Vaults, Edinburgh's most mysterious and infamous underground chambers. And the hour of the half-man, that mysterious time of 1:30 a.m. when the worlds of day and night are said to merge. At 1:25 a.m., Elena stood before the Southbridge Vaults, her heart pounding. The door was already ajar, a faint, old, coppery light emanating from within. A voice whispered in her ear, "Come in." She stepped inside, and the door slammed shut behind her with a forceful crash. The door slammed shut, and Elena found herself in complete darkness. The air smelled of old earth, rotten wood, and something ancient and dead. Her breath fogged in front of her, even though Edinburgh's summer nights were only mildly cool. Her phone, which she clutched tightly in her hand, was useless. The screen was black, the buttons unresponsive. Then, a soft pale light began to illuminate the chamber, emanating from somewhere deeper within. She found herself in a narrow, stone-walled tunnel, the masonry glistening with dampness. A low hum vibrated in the air, like the sound of a very old machine running. A voice clearer now resonated in her mind. It was no longer gravelly, but sounded weary and ancient. "You ignored my warning. Now you are here, and the rules have changed." "Who are you?" Elena's voice trembled. "I am the one you call the Keeper. I am the one who guards the secrets that could undo the world." The light intensified, and Elena saw she was standing in a vast chamber. In its center stood a bizarre structure, a cage of old, pitted metal bars, and within it was something that absorbed the light, a blot of pure void. "This is not what you were expecting, is it?" The Keeper's voice held a dry amusement. "You thought you would find a ghost or a monster, but I am far older than those." Elena found herself drawn towards the structure, her eyes locked on the darkness within. It was pulsating, breathing, though it had no form. In 1745, a fool of a sorcerer summoned something he could not control. I caught it. I bound it here. And for centuries, I have kept it away from mankind. "What is it?" Elena whispered, her voice barely audible. "It is what was before. It is what will come after. It is the emptiness, the hunger." The Keeper's tone was grim, and it is growing. Elena watched as the void subtly expanded, pressing against its boundaries. "The cage is weakening," the Keeper said, a note of concern in its voice for the first time. "And when it breaks..." The void suddenly lashed out, forming a tendril of pure darkness that shot towards Elena. She stumbled back, a scream trapped in her throat. Then an explosion of light, a flash erupted, and a new figure, humanoid, solid, weathered with age, stood between Elena and the encroaching void. It was a man. His eyes filled with the weariness of centuries, a ball of shimmering energy held in his hands. "Go, Elena!" he boomed. "Run from this place." It was Avi, but not the Avi she knew. His eyes were the ones she had seen in the old sketches from the diary, the same eyes as the keeper's. The void recoiled back into its cage with an angry roar. Avi, the keeper, turned to look at Elena, his face a mask of anguish. "You should not have come here. Now you are part of this. It will remember you." Another blast shook the chamber, and Elena found herself back on the street, the sun rising, her heart hammering against her ribs. Her phone chimed with an alert, a new email from Avi's address containing only a single line. "Now we are both hunted." Elena found herself on an Edinburgh street, her heart pounding violently. The rising sun tried to convince her it was reality, but the message from Avi on her phone confirmed her experience. She went directly to Avi's flat. The door was already ajar. The scene inside was exhausting. Centuries-old maps covered the walls, ancient books lay open on the table, and Avi stood in the middle. But he seemed different now. His eyes held that ancient weariness Elena had seen in the vault. It's you, isn't it?" Elena said hesitantly. "You are the keeper." Avi took a deep breath. "I am from 1745, Elena. I am the sorcerer who summoned that entity. My punishment was to contain it for centuries." He raised his hand, and an image of old Edinburgh shimmered in the air. "With each generation, I must find a new body. Avi, he is my most recent host. But why? What is it you're containing?" "It is the void, Elena. What existed before creation. It remembers and it forgets. If it were freed, it would reset everything." A sudden jolt shook the room. Black streaks began to spread across the walls as if swallowing the light. "Keeper, you are weakening." A familiar voice echoed, and Elena felt her memories blurring. Memories of her childhood, her university appointment. All were fading. "It's erasing you!" Avi shouted. "It consumes everything that remembers it." Avi threw his hands up, forming a shimmering barrier. "I cannot hold it for long, Elena. It's coming." Elena felt utterly helpless. She was just a historian, not a sorceress. Then she remembered the diary. She tore open her bag, pulling out the ancient manuscript. "There's something here," she yelled. "The last page, it's not just stained, it has symbols." Avi's eyes widened, binding sigils, but they are incomplete. The void was getting closer, now reaching the room's doorway. Elena grabbed a pen, ready for the most critical task of her life. "Tell me, Avi, I will complete it." As she drew the first symbol, she lost a memory forever. The face of her first professor. She screamed, "It's taking the memories! Continue!" Avi roared, straining against the encroaching darkness. "Or everything is lost!" Elena kept writing, losing more of herself with each symbol. Her first love, her graduation, her family's faces. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she drew the final sigil. An explosion of light, the void recoiled, shrinking back from the walls. Avi collapsed, gasping. "We've done it," he said. "But the cost to you..." Elena looked at her phone, a picture of her mother. She no longer remembered who she was. The address of her own home now felt alien. Avi took her hand. "You saved everyone, Elena. You saved the world. But who am I?" she asked, her voice choked with tears. Avi's eyes held a new determination. "You will stay with me. You will become my successor. You will be the new keeper." Elena felt a new power within her, centuries of memories, thousands of lives, a responsibility that was now hers. Now, the two of them looked towards the vaults, knowing their struggle was not over. "It is only a lull," the new keeper, Elena, said, centuries of wisdom gleaming in her eyes. And we are its guardians.